So speaking of CW, we have more Superman and Lois confusion, and Andy here has pulled the receipts, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't do all of it, because if I did it, we would be here for 4 hours, and Andy does just not have time for it. And also, here's the thing: this is not me trying to expose anyone or anything like that, because we usually see it as like a fun little term, but yeah, this is just okay. So let's just get into it. So last week was the annual WonderCon in Anaheim event, and actually in person this year. So Superman Lois was one of the shows to attend, and Naomi was also there, and Kung Fu, which was great. And during the panel at Superman Lois, Todd Helbing, who's a showrunner for Superman Lois, he was asked it was the final question by the moderator, asking, what audition, because everyone, because he was asked, interesting, hey, you guys didn't ask this, so I'm gonna ask it for you. But what are the chances that we may actually, I don't know, get it, that Clark gets a text from Kara, or that he, like what, like in terms of just asking a little bit more, like what's going on in terms of Arrowverse connection and so on. And
we actually have the clip if you want to play Todd's, or do you want to go into other stuff first, or do you want to play the clip?
Let's play the clip so that everyone can get the full content. This was from what's the name of
this is WonderCon, and this is where the panelists ask. It starts right where the panelists ask about Kara texting Clark. And let's get into it and let's play it.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I will click.
Any chance of at least Clark getting a text from Kara?
She's right here.
Yeah, she's right there. Yeah. All I'll say is, I think, look, everybody has this question, why hasn't, why aren't we bringing up Supergirl or Flash or any of the other heroes? And aside from us not being able to do crossovers and wanting to put our own stamp on this property, I'll just say that at the end of the season, you'll get the answer to the questions that you guys have.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
You're so frustrated.
I'm frustrated with how fans perceive this, because this is why I hate social media for most of the part, because okay, and the reason we played it so that you could see body language, you could hear his voice, you can see what the other actors were saying and laughing at, what the moderator was saying, what the audience was reacting, and okay, so I want to hit myself with something, but so now what has caused is that, okay, so this is all he has said so far. We're gonna bring up a couple quotes later on, and there's links to them in the show notes, so don't worry about that. But what this has now caused online, of course, because some people with loud mouths that shouldn't be talking are now proposing once again that maybe this is, they're going to reveal that this isn't in the same universe as the other Arrowverse shows. And I wanted to kill myself, because I was just like, this is just, I'm like, put me in the ground now, because I cannot deal with this nonsense anymore. And so again, this quote could mean 10,000 different things. Okay, maybe not 10,000, maybe 10 different things. Because the show is not that big. It's not going to end the world if it's, whatever. So do we want to address what he has said previously, or do we want to give our theories first, or kind of comments on that?
Like what he just said?
What he just said.
Okay. I have one big thing to say. Because throughout the panel, if you watch the panel, he is talking about putting a stamp on this show in terms of making it what it is. That's completely fine. I have no issue with that. My problem is, why is that a part of the answer about, is it connected to the Arrowverse? I don't care about so much your stamp, because you can do that without having to say, well, that's a part of the reason why we haven't really addressed the Arrowverse. No. Like this, like this is it. Like this is not like it's not its own thing. It's not. I'm sorry. Like it is a part of a shared universe. To say, well, we're trying to put a stamp on it, and you'll find out. Like I just don't like that he's being so vague about it. And of course, he's teasing. The season you'll find out. Well, I mean, like he should have just said yes, because you have the evidence of other things that have been said that clearly. And then, and I don't know if you're pulling a quote from this, but DC TV podcast did an interview with Todd on like a little carpet thing or whatever, and they asked about a Flash Superman crossover, and he's like, "Yeah, that'd be awesome." It's like,
oh, yeah, I have the quote. I have the quote for that.
Oh, yeah, pull up that quote. Yeah, because he says that around the same time he does this. Yeah,
wait,
right
hold
here.
on. No,
Let's
hold on.
see.
Which one is it?
There it is. That's it.
So my good friend and my co-host Tatiana Hollander, who is one of my co-hosts on the Flash podcast, she's been part of that work for several years. She was at the red carpet event at Paley Fest this year for Superman and Lois. There was actually their first Superman and Lois panel at Paley Fest, so great for them. So at the end of the interview that we had, which is up on our YouTube channel, DC Podcast, the link is in the description. You go watch it and click it and support us. We would appreciate it. But Todd asked, what kind of, because Todd was also part of the Flash before, so she asked, like, what characters would you want to see come over at some point? Because fans are always wondering. And he says, and I quote, "I love Grant. He's a good friend of mine. I think having Flash and Superman together would be a lot of fun. I think Irons and Lois will be fantastic. There's a lot of similarities in a lot of our characters. So you could have Wells talking to John Henry Irons. I will take any of those. I love that whole cast. So it's hard for me to just specify one person, but I think for fan service, having Flash over would be pretty great." And this is what's so funny. Hold on. Look at that. Look at April 3rd, the day after WonderCon. So
okay, so this was after his vague statement at the panel, when a lot more people are in the vicinity in terms of, like, instead of being a one-on-one interview and that's going to be uploaded later and people can see it, he's at a panel with fans for the first time in person in a while. He could have got the hype up saying, "We're connected. Flash, we crossovers are possible. We'll see," but instead he has to go this vague, "Well, try to put a stamp." Todd, I hate the response. Like, I hate how he worded it. He should have worded it differently, in my opinion. But yeah.
My thought on the whole matter is that again, because we have evidence that we're going to go to, and again, it's not some sort of like exposing my whatever. So we love these shows, and well, first of all, hi, Fake Jake. I hope you're feeling better, and secondly, that would be hilarious. That would be so hilarious. But for me, what's annoying is that, because he's already said it so many times that it's in the air, so I think the problem with saying a statement like that is, again, because he's not on social media, so maybe he doesn't have that mindset in mind when saying these kind of things. So this was an interview with Craig Byrne from KryptonSite, KSiteTV. Also, he does Flash TV, New Green TV. You guys know him. You love him. He's awesome. And this was on May 17th, 2021. So he asked, was it intentional to have the show be rather self-contained and not have reference to the other Arrowverse shows and situations in the episode that have aired so far? Todd Helbing says, "No, going back to what I was saying about COVID, originally we were going to do a Batwoman crossover, and just because of COVID, it changed things, and slowly things got pulled out of episodes until a point where it got so far from us having to explain the crisis of it all, it just felt like we a very can of worms to talk about it. Every time we tried to put it in there, it just felt like more and more fun instead of feeling organic. It just felt so strange to talk about it. That doesn't mean, though, that they're like somehow like they're removing the show out of that same franchise. It just said whatever plans they had when
It got changed.
it got changed. It's like script changes like that last minute happens all the time. I can't talk about some of those things on air, but like you guys would be surprised about some of the things that some of these shows in the past were gonna do, and then they had to take it out because of whatever reasons. Then we have another quote. This is from Todd Helbing at I can't, because of the banner, I can't see it.
TV line, May 18, 2021.
Yeah. So he said, it got cut out of time. But when Lois quits the data planet and she was walking down the hall towards the elevator, she grabs some of the things from her desk. One of the things that she's holding is a picture with her, Kara, and Clark. There's been this weird set of circumstances where, because of production or timing or COVID, everything in the show that was related to the Arrowverse has gotten pulled out. It's just another one of those things. We will see how this all pans out for next season. We don't know what's going to change in Vancouver or not. We're going to figure out what makes sense for our shows and for the others. We will see what we can do and we cannot do, and then we'll make a decision based on that. Again, it's all based on safety protocols. Then we have. Sorry, go on.
1 second.
Mhm.
This is the stupidest response because it's a picture.
I know. I've said the
Todd,
same thing.
What are you doing? It's a picture, dude. Anyways, continue.
Then we have a third thing, and this was said to KryptonSite again just 3 days ago at Paley Fest, because he was asking for a follow up, on like what he said at WonderCon. Like, can you elaborate on it? He said, I don't want to elaborate. Again, the reason we haven't done any crossover, there are many factors like the pandemic. It's just sipping from crisis slowly and really just trying to make our own mark in the Superman mythos, so the show could stand on its own. But I understand the fans' frustration, and so we're going to just finally answer that at the end of the season, where we all fit in, and everything.
I don't like that quote.
Okay, we will get to it. And then we had the one from
Yeah.
And I will say this, guys, in some of our interviews that you can find on the YouTube channel for DC Podcast, many of the cast members are talking about they want to cross over with the Flash, like especially they mentioned what Flash characters they want to meet up with and so on. So it's just it's there. Then here's another quote that came from one of the writers last year, and this was on March 17, 2022, 2021. Sorry, I wrote that's a wrong.
And this
graphic.
tweet is still up, by the way.
Yeah,
this tweet is still up.
And they were quote tweeting about something related to because people have been asking. This is another question I don't think I'll get in trouble for confirming. It is present day Arrowverse, concurrent with all the other shows. Crisis changed history, so Lois and Clark had kids much earlier on Earth Prime, and also additional evidence. So during Jordan, you listen to me. I warned you that if you because I had hold on. Guys, I warned him. If you're asking me to look for, information and pull things together, you need to be prepared for what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to hold back. I want to bring as much possible so we can have a good discussion about it. Again, not about exposing anything, because these are public quotes and interviews and tweets. So it's like, but I warned him, and it gets technical and detailed. Also, I have Asperger's. Leave me alone. During Diggle's appearance in Superman Lois episode 12, he mentions doppelgangers, other worlds, glowing boxes, losing the people I love, I'm done with that life, all references to his arcs on Arrow.
Yep.
When Earth Prime was announced as a comic crossover event, it was specifically stated
He also mentioned, Diggle also mentioned Oliver and what Oliver did. Didn't he mention Oliver?
That's what losing the people I love. That was
well, I thought he mentioned Oliver by name.
Sadly not. Earth Prime is a 3-month 6-issue event set entirely in the universe of DC's popular superhero TV shows. All issues are part of the WonderVerse television show canon, approved by CW television show producers. Each of the first 5 issues spotlights a different CW DC superhero show, with the 6th issue serving as a crossover finale. Tyler Hoechlin was supposed to appear in The Flash Armageddon, but scheduling prevented him. However, Eric Wallace confirmed to the Flash podcast, that's me, that Tyler is on board to appear on The Flash next time he gets approached. The fucking end.
So it's all about scheduling. And
I understand that, because I think just as they were starting to, when they were starting to work on Armageddon, I think they just finished on Superman Lois, and because those actors need to rest too. Just because they have 15 episodes doesn't mean that it's somehow easy on the workload.
Yeah. I just feel like I just don't like the way Todd answered, saying, people will find out how like where we stand and everything. It's like stop. Like the whole thing about a picture, it's a picture. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, the
matter.
photo is still very dumb. I think that's dumb.
It doesn't matter what's happening in Supergirl. It doesn't matter. It's a photo of all 3 of them. That's not going to affect Supergirl. That's not going to affect the Arrowverse continuity to have a photo that Lois is holding. It makes no sense. In terms of the other stuff that was removed, whatever he's referring to, I get it, because the shows have like all the different, like Superman Lois is on break right now. Flash is currently airing right now, but Superman Lois is on a break. So with those breaks in motion, I understand why certain things may not be shown, or certain things may not be able to make sense, because years ago, back what I consider the golden era of the Arrowverse, Arrow and Flash would air pretty much consistently all the time, and they would be able to reference stuff back and forth because it was better connected in terms of the communication. Now things are a little bit different. That's just how it is.
And I know I know a lot of fans have, because I'm going to bring up a certain showrunner that a lot of people had issues with, Mark Guggenheim, who he did Arrow, he worked on Legends, but he was also the one that heavily ran Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like he was like the top brass of it all.
I think he was like the top guy for the last couple crossovers. He was like the guy kind of helping put all that together. Yeah.
Maybe, but I know that like he was I think he was someone that was easier to kind of like go past everyone and like see what everyone wanted to do and so on. And now he is not working on the shows anymore. I think like maybe he's still involved with Legends and some kind because he's one of the co-creators. But I think he's moving on to like he's doing a new like a law drama on NBC or something.
He co-wrote Lantern HBO Max series.
Yeah, I think he did a few episodes. I'm not sure how many episodes he did on that.
Well, they announced that he was co-writing it with another guy, and that was a long time ago. So things may have changed, but I remember that was an announcement that he.
Yeah, I mean, he's not sure. He's more like just like I think a staff writer and maybe a co-ep or something because like he's worked now very long in Hollywood. So he has certain credits to his list. But besides that, I think now we're in an Arrowverse now where like it is. Yes, they're all connected. They are like with the exception of Stargirl, which is on Earth 2, but that there's a reason they showed Stargirl during Crisis because they want you to know that hey, this is a show that you could potentially see coming over at some point. Like I mean, heck, even Brett Bassinger, who plays Stargirl on the show, she said last year that there was supposed to be a Flash and Stargirl crossover. She was supposed to be on Flash Season 7, but Supergirl films in Atlanta and
Stargirl.
Flash films in
Okay.
Stargirl films in Atlanta, Flash films in Vancouver. So, and last year, you can't just fly over however you want because if you do, if Grant flew over to Atlanta, he would have to self-quarantine for 2 weeks, film whatever scenes he would have, and then go back, self-quarantine for 2 weeks. Now, I don't know. I don't think those rules are in place anymore, but there were plans for that. We know Superman Lois and Batwoman were crossover, but then the Ruby Rose of it all happened, and we're not going to open that can of worms. So.
Well, I mean, we know eventually when Stargirl does appear on the Flash, this is going to be the first thing that she says to Barry.
Wow, you have seriously leveled up.
let's answer some super. Okay, do you have anything else you want to say about it? Because I know that as soon as something like this happens, hold on. Not receipts. These are not deleted.
No, it's receipts though because you're compiling it all together. There's a lot of
hold on. Let me do a full. Hi, Adam back here, journalist, podcaster, and content creator. I like to put an official disclaimer that these is not an expose video. I do not do expose journalism, and this is no way any attack or insult or hate commentary on said showrunner and producer and said TV show WonderCon television. Please don't kill me.
It's not an expose, but
it's not. I'm just putting that. I'm putting a disclaimer out there just so that they know. I love you guys. If you know, you know. So we all good. This is just a part of a discussion because we are curious. If we didn't love these shows, we wouldn't even bother caring about these comments. We wouldn't even bring it up. We would talk about something else instead. But in terms of fears, like what I think is going to happen at the end of the season, I think it's still going to be on the same Earth. I think what's going to happen though, is they're going to reveal that at some point after Crisis, there's been conflicts between the heroes, and maybe that's why Superman doesn't really want, maybe he's distant from the others for some reason. Because one, it is welcome to the CW. They love drama. Dare to defy. Do you hear how dramatic it is?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's something more like that, or they just want to make this right story right. But as you can tell, they want to make these things happen, and I think the negative thing that could come out of this being revealed as they have never been on Earth Prime this whole time, I think it will because I think you can still be in the same universe, but you don't have to mention every week what the other shows are doing to somehow validate that it's the same world. I think what's going to happen is that because people are already crapping on the other shows because they're not Superman Lois, because they don't have the same budget, or they don't film with the same type of cameras, or they don't have this thing or that thing or whatever and so on. It's gonna create more toxicity and also give fans more reason to not even care about the other shows because they're like, well, if they're not part of Earth Prime, why do I need to watch? And also here's let's flip it. Let's flip it. I mean, we can do this. We can flip it, but flipping it, if y'all don't want it in Earth Prime, you will likely not be able to see many of the bigger heroes on Superman Lois, like not even as doppelgangers.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
We've been on this for way too long.
yeah.
A lot. But I mean, we got sidetracked, but at the same time, it's a lot to go through in terms of the different. This should not have been this. There should not be this much stuff to talk about. It should just be clear as day. Like there's no question. Like the car picture that would have completely just stopped the whole debate. We wouldn't be.
You know what I think? Because I think somewhere they had referenced which photo exactly it was going to be, and it was that photo of Tyler, Bitsy, and Kara, but with both Clark and Kara without their glasses. And at that point, Kara hadn't come out to the world yet as Supergirl. It hadn't come out revealing her identity. Plus, maybe it would not be the best idea to have a photo of Superman standing next to Lois, being like, "Why is he dressed like Clark Kent?" So I can understand that, but also any type of photo, like because you've seen some of the Photoshop photos they do sometimes. So
Yeah,
sometimes they're not that pretty.